Hi there, and welcome to today's vlog. Now, I need to warn you that the builders are back in, just doing some finishing off work, so you might hear a bit of drilling or a few background noises, but don't worry about that. Uh, Today is a bit of a sad story. The theme is to do with when life becomes unbearable. And I talk about that because I've just read a book called Gary Speed Unspoken. Gary Speed was a highly regarded and greatly talented professional footballer. He played for Leeds United when they won the First Division title. He moved then to Everton, the team he supported as a young lad, then on to Newcastle, then to West Brom, I think, and then to Sheffield United, where he became manager of Sheffield United. He was Welsh born and fiercely proud of his Welsh upbringing, and it was his greatest joy when he became manager of the Welsh national team. And things seemed to be going so well for him in his career. He had a lovely family, two boys who he doted on, loving parents who'd been with him through all the years of his youth and up into his football career. Widely regarded, many friends in the football world and outside. Everything seemed to be going well, but then, desperately, sadly, Gary Speed took his own life. His body was discovered by his wife Louise, and it was an awful time for the family and for close friends. This book is about his life, partly from Gary Speed's own words, which were recorded before he died, but also from friends within the football world, from his wife Louise. And almost everybody who talks about Gary Speed talk about the shock, the utter disbelief that they felt when they heard that Gary had taken his own life. How could he come to that point when, looking externally, everything seemed to be going for him? It's sad to report that in 2019, which is the latest year that I could find statistics, an average of 18 people in England and Wales took their lives every single day. So the chances are something like that, somewhere in our nation, somebody today will be on the verge of taking their own lives. 18 people every single day on average. Suicide is the biggest killer of men under the age of 45. And that is such a sobering thought. So what leads a person to find that life is so unbearable they have to end it? Some would say, well, those who believe in God should not come to that point. Look back into the Old Testament book of 1 Kings, chapter 19, verse 4. The prophet Elijah, who was a great man of God, who just won a great victory against the prophets of the false god Baal on Mount Carmel. And yet he comes to a point when he hears that Queen Jezebel is out after his life. And it just comes in a place of desperation. And he prays, "I've had enough, Lord, take my life." He's had enough. Life had become for Elijah unbearable. But God ministers to him. He says, take rest. He provides food, and it reassures Elijah of his presence. One of the interesting things about this book about Gary Speed is that nobody, it seems, nobody who was close to him had any inkling of what he was going through in that inner life of his. And it's often said, isn't it, that especially men often struggle to talk about things they're facing. Gary Speed was regarded as really a rock. If someone had a problem, they would go to Gary and he would help them. But Gary Speed, for whatever reason, didn't ever feel that he could share his own problems with others. And that is a lesson for us, isn't it? That we need to, if there's something really troubling us, if we're coming to a point of desperation, we need to find a friend and confide in them and open up. There is that old saying about a problem shared is a problem halved. we need to overcome that barrier to speak, to share our issues, that others may come alongside us. We need to be open with God to, who knows, maybe there were somebody you or I know who are going through such a situation right now. Are our eyes and our ears, our hearts open to recognise that and to respond, to come alongside, to do what we can to help, to offer a listening ear. But if you're going through such a time, now or in the future, please do speak to someone. Please do not try and keep it to yourself. Try and bottle it up until it just explodes. But when life becomes unbearable, we know we have one who walks with us. Jesus said, "Come unto me, all who are weary and heavy burdened, and I will give you rest." He is with us always. So if you're in that place, please do speak to someone. Please don't try and struggle through. So God bless you. Thank you so much for listening today.